Let's do some other stories now. No democratically elected president in West Africa will be allowed to stay in power for more than 3 terms in office. That's on the condition that foreign affairs ministers of ECOWAS members vote to adopt a revised protocol on democracy and good governance on July 2022. Experts have argued that one of the reasons for the growing military takeovers and violent extremism in the sub-region is bad governance and dictatorial tendencies. However, in a bid to correct what she describes as the mistakes of the past, Finda Kuroma, Vice President of the ECOWAS Commission, disclosed that under this new framework, no government will be allowed to stay beyond 3 terms. She also added that the long-term vision of ECOWAS Agenda 2050 will also go a long way to address more challenges confronting the political organization. There's more in the following report.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is an intergovernmental organization which is set out to, amongst many other things, create a borderless region where the population has access to its abundant resources and is able to exploit same through the creation of opportunities under a sustainable environment. However, in recent years, the realization of this vision is being challenged with a surge in violent extremism and unconstitutional change of government. In a bid to correct what she describes as the mistakes of the past, Vice President of the ECOWAS Commission, Finda Kuroma, disclosed that a number of measures are contained in the long-term measures of ECOWAS Agenda 2050, which will promote the rule of law and democracy in the sub-region. She added that ECOWAS members will decide in a crucial vote on the 1st of July on the proposal to put a term limit on the tenure of governments in West Africa.
But hope is there because ECOWAS has now done what you've asked us to do, which is the revision of the ECOWAS protocol on democracy and good governance. I know that the 5 member states on the panel have reviewed it. It is going to be put to the Council of Ministers now for adoption, and that protocol puts an end to 3rd terms. It clearly states that sanctions will lie if any country tries to tamper with the Constitution or alter it in any way to usher a 3rd term, because we see 3rd terms as undemocratic and unconstitutional. So I want to go on record to say that Mr. Minister will be voting on it pretty soon, on the 30th of June and on the 1st of July. So the media, I hope you go easy on us. We're trying to catch up with the mistakes that were made, but beyond just that, there are other challenges. It will also look at strengthening governance in our ECOWAS region.
On the issue of growing instability and military coup d'etats in the sub-region, Finda Kuroma added that states must take the early warning mechanism of ECOWAS seriously, as she explained that the ECOWAS warned of the recent military takeovers in the sub-region.
We did give alerts on the situation, the democratic situation in the 3 countries. Alerts were given, but as I said, we are just the instrument that warns the President of the ECOWAS Commission and our heads of states that there could be some very serious governance issues if we move towards a 3rd term in Guinea and in other countries. We also warned against seeming challenges, in Burkina Faso that could lead to a fall of the government. But as I said, that is not for us to take action. Our role was merely to warn them, and the rest is history. We're now firefighting, and I hope that early warning will be taken seriously next time.
The West African Bar Association is asking ECOWAS to expedite action on the statute that will completely outlaw any attempt by an incumbent government to manipulate their country's constitution to perpetuate themselves in power.
And I can tell you that one of the things that I proposed to them was that they should shift away from the mindset that it is only when it is military coup that is unconstitutional change of government. I can assure you that when you manipulate the constitution as a leader, so you can sit tight. Your government is also illegitimate. Because a constitution should come from the will of the people. How much wide consultation did you undertake before you arrived at the constitutional amendments that would allow you to extend your... It's all just for selfish interest. So now, coming here now and also learning that ECOWAS has taken a very bold step to do that, because one of my propositions, I said ECOWAS must rise up and condemn that in its entirety. Number one. Number two, I also suggested that beyond even condemnation, they should put it down in one of their legal instruments. If it takes making new laws, if it takes also amending the existing treaties and protocols to accommodate that, then it is a one very strong way to go in resolving this crisis.
Blessed Sugan's report for Joy News, Freetown, Sierra Leone.
Well, you had that strong advocacy from the West African Bar Association asking ECOWAS to expedite action on the proposed law, as it argues that the rising cases of military takeovers in the West African sub-region is enough grounds to suggest the sanctions must apply to dictatorial regimes. Let's do some more on this. Obaigili Oraka is Programs Director for the West African Bar Association, and she joins us via Zoom. Madam, thank you so much. The first thing that jumps at me, first of all, are you sure that all member states will agree to this law when the vote to decide on the adoption of this statute comes up?
Thank you very much. I cannot answer you in certainty because I am not a head of state. But I can assure you that they are watching. They are watching the trend, the dangerous trend of unconstitutional change of government via coup d'etat that is already happening in West Africa. And I can assure you that everybody is concerned. They are also concerned. I mean, we know the implication of military takeovers. We know the retrogression that comes up the moment this happens. We also know that they know, these head of states, they also know that their own lives are also in danger when these things happen, and their freedoms too, because we know that a whole lot of them are arrested and kept in jail until at the will of the military leaders when coup takes over. So I believe strongly that this amendment will sail through. I believe that any of them that is wise, that is conversant with the trends and the times, will not object to that amendment. So I believe strongly that it will scale through.
Now, is it really the case that the term limits, are a solution to the democratic instability in West Africa?
I believe it is one of the solutions, because we've noticed that the issue of sit-tight syndrome, the issue of illegal amendment of constitutions in order to perpetuate your longer stay in office, is one of the greatest triggers that we've had in these countries, in these three countries, namely Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea, that have experienced this coup in the recent times. So I believe strongly that limiting to 2 terms and putting it in a legal format that unconstitutional extension beyond 2 terms is no longer acceptable. We go such a long way in checking this menace. Yes.
You recently addressed the ECOWAS Parliament on the recent military takeovers. What really were your recommendations as the West African Bar Association about this phenomenon?
The key recommendation that I made is that ECOWAS should be very proactive in condemning illegitimate governments, be it via coup d'etat or be it via unconstitutional, constitutional amendment to accommodate elongation of term, be it to 10th time or to extend stay, in whatever way, so long as it does not reflect the will of the people, so long as it was done in a manner that reflects selfish interest to continue to stay in office. ECOWAS should rise up and do what and stop that. The other recommendation I made is that ECOWAS should be very proactive in putting up preventive measures. This issue of reactionary measures is not helping us. We see those things in the States. Now, we have a lot of triggers. ECOWAS has early warning mechanisms. They have 2 very fundamental protocols that, that would help tremendously in checking these occurrences. The number one is the protocol on conflict management. Number two is the supplementary protocol on democracy and good governance. You know, so especially the early warning part of it. So these laws are there for them to utilize. You activate your early warning. Do not wait until these things happen before. There were strong signals, there were strong triggers in these countries. We knew, everybody knew that this was going to happen. Why wait until it happened? And then you start putting up sanctions and the rest of it, and then you're further impoverishing or victimizing people who are already down. Who are you punishing?
And I'm curious to know what will really happen to presidents in West Africa who are already, exceeding their terms. Okay, so what happens is, in law, there's what you call you said laws, when law comes up, new laws comes up, most times you do not allow it to go beyond the date that the law was constituted, or the law comes up. So you allow the law to be progressive, starting from the date that it was enacted. So you do not take the law back to have retroactive effect. That's how they put it. So it goes back and begin to affect those ones that already did it and they are there. If you do that, you will be giving opportunity for chaos. And just finally,
let me also.
Yes, please land on that point.
If you allow this particular amendment to have a retroactive effect, I can assure you that the heads of state will not sign up for this. So it's better we make it a progressive law.
Finally, what do you say to those who say this will not really make a difference because ECOWAS over the period has had a very weak sanctioning regime and this might not really make any difference?
It will make a lot of difference because you can choose to call ECOWAS weak regime. Why won't ECOWAS have its deficiencies when the head of states is the highest authority in ECOWAS? And in their various countries, they are still perpetuating the same bad governance and other issues that the other states. We are basically faced with the same geopolitical problems in West Africa. So it's not a perfect institution, but ECOWAS is doing so well. ECOWAS has achieved so much. And I believe that it is very important to have the legal instrument backing your decisions and your actions. It is easier to build on that. But without these laws, you will not have anything to build on. The foundation is the law. Let us have it in place and then let us begin advocacies on how to achieve it. So it is critical that we have it if we must make progress, if we must move away from the way things are done to the way things ought to be done.
Thank you very much. And let's see how this pans out. We are grateful for your time. You're watching Joy News Prime.